After having the $0 Amex Everyday card, as well as its big brother, the $95 Amex Everyday Preferred, I can confidently say that they're not the best cards, neither the worst. Both of these cards have special, unique elements, which is why folks, just like you and me, have kept these cards, regardless of them being the best in the industry, for so many years over time. The Amex Everyday earns us 2x membership reward points per dollar spent when it comes to groceries, up to $6,000 in spend each calendar year. The value of these membership reward points will leave it as 1 penny per point, where if you redeem it for cash back, you could be looking as low as 0.6 cents per point. So even if you're earning 2x points per dollar spent, that's 1.2% in true cash back. Simultaneously, these points could be worth way more, especially if you're redeeming for business/first class flights. But for our examples, we'll keep it at 1 penny per point for simple maths. And outside of that grocery category, it's going to be 1x everywhere else. The Everyday Preferred, on the other hand, gives us 3x on that same US supermarket category for every dollar spent up to that same 6K threshold, and 1x after that for each and every dollar spent. We also have an additional category of 2x per dollar spent when we're spending on US gas stations, and 1x for all other purchases. At the time of recording, the intro offers for both of these cards back to back are going to be with the Amex Everyday. It's going to be 10,000 points after 2K in spend in the first 6 months. We also get 0% APR on balance transfers and purchases for the first 15 months with the Everyday. And with the Preferred, it's going to be that same thing, but for 12 months. And specific to the Preferred, it's that same intro spend of 2K needed in the first 6 months, but instead of 10K, we're looking at 15,000 points. Given the assumption that these are worth around 1 penny a point, the Amex Everyday's 10,000 points is worth around $100, with the Amex Everyday Preferred's 15K worth around $150. Now let's look at a mathematical break-even example of when it makes sense to have the Amex Everyday Preferred versus the Amex Everyday. So when it comes to the math for an Amex Everyday versus the Preferred, it's basically comparing the $0 versus the $95 annual fee versus basically what we're getting for that annual fee. To me, I see two cases. The first case is going to be the fact of you using the Amex Everyday, let's say less than 20 times in a month, and the Amex Everyday Preferred less than 30. Each of these cards have a multiplier based on how many times you spend on them each and every month. With the Amex Everyday, you're looking at 20 times or more will give you a 20% multiplier on your points. And with the Preferred, it's a 50% boost if you spend on your card 30 times or more in a month. A quick example is, let's say we spend $100 on the Amex Everyday in that grocery category. With Amex Everyday, we'd be getting 100 times 2x points, so we're looking at 200 points, which at that 20% multiplier, instead of 200 points, we'd be looking at 240. With the Amex Everyday Preferred, on the other hand, let's say we're spending more than 30 times a month, that same $100 in spend at 3% back is 300 points, but with the 50% multiplier, we're looking at 450 points. From a pure break-even perspective, if we value these points at 1 penny a point, then this is what that break-even number looks like. In this case one scenario, assuming these points are worth a penny each, we're basically looking at that $95 going for an extra percentage point earned when we're spending on groceries and an extra point earned for gas spend. From there, with our case 2, if we're matching or exceeding the number of transactions per month, then this is what the math looks like. With the no annual fee version every day, we're basically getting a 20% boost. So at the same valuation of 1 penny a point, then instead of 2% back, we're looking at 2.4% back per dollar spent. With the Everyday Preferred, that 3% basically jumps up to 4.5%, and the 2x on gas would be essentially 3%. And the 1x category everywhere else, with the Everyday no annual fee, it'd be 1.2% essentially earned back per dollar spent, and 1.5 with the Everyday Preferred. These figures are based on these points worth 1 penny a point. I would say that if you're only getting at maximum 1 penny a point in the longer term with American Express, they may not be the best option to consider unless if cashback is the strategy and it makes sense for your lifestyle. That being said, if it's 1.5 or 2 cents per point in terms of the value for these Amex points, then it could be worth that much more than just considering, let's say, a pure cashback setup. So a few reasons of why you may want to pick one over the other are really going to come down to, let's start off with the first one, the intro offer. With Amex Everyday, you're getting 15 months 0% APR, whilst you're getting that for only 12 months with the Preferred. Apart from that, if you're looking at return protection, for example, that's something specific that you're going to get by paying that annual fee with the Preferred, and it's not something you're going to get at all with the Amex Everyday no annual fee version. If you look at the sign-up bonus, basically there's a difference of 5,000 points which at 1 penny a point is $50, but there's an annual fee of $95. So that difference really doesn't justify, let's say, in the first year, just to pick that bonus that's basically giving you so much value to pay for an annual fee and otherwise. Clearly, if you use your card, let's say, easily 20 times, 30 times, or if you're just like, hey, I don't want to balance any other cards and one card just makes this situation perfect for me, then maybe the Amex Everyday, where you're getting that 50% multiplier on those categories, could make sense for you. The additional category of getting 2x on those gas purchases and then that 50% multiplier, it's like you're getting 3 times membership reward points per dollar spent. Whether that's 3% with the Amex Everyday for every dollar on gas versus just 1% if you value the points as such with the Amex Everyday, then that difference could make the most sense. A very significant fact before we move on is the fact that even though we're earning American Express membership reward points, where there's a lot of value by transferring these points to airlines and hotels and transfer partners in general, the thing is, these cards, both of them, have foreign transaction fees. They're good everyday cards, no pun intended, but for travel specific and advantages in that, there's travel credit cards for a reason. There's definitely items when it comes to the Amex Everyday versus the preferred. At the same time, both of these cards are a part of the Amex ecosystem and have a certain feature known as Amex offers. These are essentially merchant offers where you're getting discounted rates or a certain increased multiplier in cash back that you'd earn, or points in this case, when you're spending with your Amex Everyday or preferred. There's a specific reason why either of these cards could be coveted and almost necessary for someone who's a big fan or loyalist of the Amex ecosystem. When it comes to Amex's cards, there are usually two different verticals. Typically, they're called as your charge cards versus credit cards. Charge cards typically have no limit per se, and usually are attributed to the Amex Platinum, Gold, and Green. When it comes to the cashback cards, it's usually a credit line that's issued to you, so you're just more typical credit card. What I want to call out here is how we're earning these points with said cards. There's two ways. It's essentially going to be cashback versus earning membership reward points. When it comes to the common man, just like myself, if we have the Amex Platinum, the Green, the Gold, these cards earn membership reward points on each and every dollar spent. At the same time, the Amex Everyday and Preferred also earn these type of points. Yet there are other Amex cards that earn pure cash back. A couple examples are going to be the Amex Blue Cash as well as the Amex Cash Magnet. The annual fees sequentially, starting from the Amex Platinum at the time of recording, is $695. With the Gold, $325. Green is at $150. The Amex Everyday Preferred has an annual fee of $95, and the Amex Everyday a $0 annual fee. Let's say we opened any of these membership reward earning cards. In this situation, the majority of them have an annual fee. And if they have an annual fee, what happens when you don't want to keep that card, but you have, let's say, a ton of membership reward points? Well, although it's nice to just have them parked on the side just in perpetuity, the thing is, let's say you have one Amex card, you cancel with them, basically you're going to lose the points that you've accumulated. All this to say that when we have any number of points, if we want to keep them and you don't want to really keep a card that has an annual fee, but that's the card where basically all your membership reward points are being earned with, or even a few of them, for example, and they all have annual fees. The point is, what can you do in that situation when you don't want to pay an annual fee, but you don't want to lose your points? This is basically where the Amex Everyday and the Amex Everyday Preferred could come in, where the Amex Everyday Preferred has a $95 annual fee, whilst the others have basically a higher annual fee of that $150, $250, and $695. The reason I got the Amex Everyday was exactly this scenario, where I was like, okay, I don't want to pay this Amex Platinum's annual fee, but I don't want to lose my points. But I also need time to redeem them. I don't want to make any rash/hasty decisions. The Amex Everyday basically gives me the comfort day to day where I can have these points. Let's say if I don't want to pay any annual fees with Amex for whatever reason, and I just have time to make that decision whenever I want. There's no annual fee, and there's not really an issue if I don't use it that often. So it's pretty much like a shield/safety net, if you want to call it as such. Who I think these cards are good for are going to be for somebody who's maybe new to American Express, just kind of wants to dip their toe in the water, see how it is, just to see, okay, hey, does this make sense for me? The reason is the Amex Everyday has no annual fee. The Everyday Preferred has an annual fee, but in year two, let's say you're like, all right, hey, this isn't really working out for me, but I don't want to cancel this card. I just maybe want to consider a different option, then you can downgrade to this no annual fee version. Simultaneously, the way I even got the Amex Everyday Preferred, I'll put a video here on the channel, you can watch me apply. It wasn't a fresh application, it was actually an upgrade offer from my Everyday to the Everyday Preferred. If you're not committed to a pure cashback strategy or a pure travel strategy, and you're kind of like, okay, I want to have the flexibility of earning some points, but I don't really want to be boxed into pure cash back, but I still want there to be like an insurance policy where Amex points can be redeemed for cash, which is typically the worst option. At the same time, you have that capability versus, let's say, get pure miles with some specific airline like Delta, for example, where you're boxed in to only Delta spend, and there's not much more flexibility than that. I would say that this makes sense. There are other systems like Chase, for example, where you have more flexibility of the points, where all of them have a floor rate of 1 penny a point, and you can actually get more depending on how you redeem those points. So based on that, it's a great way to dip your toe, as I was saying. But if you're trying to optimize or get the most Amex points per dollar spent, this is a great way with the accelerators of those, hey, 20x a month or 30x a month transactions when you spend on these everyday and everyday preferred cards. But at the holistic level, based on other benefits in your lifestyle, there's so many other cards that can make a lot more sense, even from Amex's portfolio, if you're really more traveling versus just everyday spending. So the Amex Everyday doesn't have an annual fee. The Amex Everyday does have an annual fee. And what has an even higher annual fee is the Amex Gold Card, where we're getting 4x on that same US supermarket spend per dollar spent. Now, if that sounds enticing to you, I've had the Amex Gold for over 6+ years, and to know everything you need to know about it, click over here, and I'll see you there.
And if you haven't already yet, please click the subscribe button down below, hit the like button, and comment down what was your favorite part about this video. See you soon!